Do you read me over?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! We have an amazing show for you, everybody. What's going on? Baby Friday, Friday night's Eve. God damn, it's almost the weekend. Oh, hey, it wouldn't be the field up if we didn't have some type of calm issues when we're out camping in the field. So, but hey, we got a really great show for you. Some really cool information with two amazing individuals out there, some fellow veterans doing their part with our community. But before we get started, let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. Hey, when was the last time that you took a real good look at your financial picture, and where is it where you stand, whether you're getting a retirement from the military, whether you're getting your VA claims and benefits, or you look at you, or if you're not one of us, and you would like to get yourself in somewhere financially in a healthy status, then hey, let me know. I can actually help you with that. What I do for a living is in addition to helping people's money make more money, I also help people put strategies together that will get them out of debt, maybe pay off their house even in less than 10 years, or maybe put their kids to college, or whatever their goals may be, even protect your assets, because at the end of the day, SGLI, VGLI, I mean, those are not the best products. So you want to implement some strategies that can set you apart, in addition to helping your family, God forbid, the unexpected were to happen. So that's where I come in. Additionally, on top of that, you have to take advantage of your VA claims and benefits, because it doesn't matter if you've been out of the military 10, 20, 30 years. It's never too late to apply. I run into a lot of veterans who, I never deployed. That's not for me. Or I run into a lot of folks that say, hey, I don't rate that, or I didn't earn it. You guys did. I mean, hey, look, listen, you earned those benefits because you raised the right hand and you said, I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution, ... so on and so forth. So you raised your right hand and you earned these benefits. So it's never too late. If you need help with putting a claim together, not only can my guests help you with that, I can also help you with that as well. There's plenty of resources out there, but don't get taken advantage of by one of those claim sharks that are out there that are charging you an arm and a leg, maybe a percentage of your claims and benefits. Don't do that. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of good things coming down the pipeline from the VA. The system is not perfect. I get it. Trust me. I get seen at the VA just like any other person. But hey, it's the only thing we got, so we might as well make it better, right? All right. So that's pretty much it on that aspect. Look, if you like the show, like, subscribe, and follow. I'm actually publishing articles now on Substack. I started putting some stuff on Reddit as well. Starting to figure that out. God forbid you put a hashtag or something like that on Reddit. I mean, you get pretty much crucified by some of the people on there. But it is what it is. The point being, folks, is that, hey, support your boy here. I don't make any money out of this. I just do this out of the kindness, out of my heart, because it's somewhat therapeutic for me, sharing information, connecting others. But support me on all the different platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, if you have any questions, hit us up. We'll be glad to answer them. And look, at the end of the day, we supported the Constitution for however many years you serve, and so we're all about the right to bear arms, freedom of speech. Even though we may agree or disagree, that's okay. So if you don't like this sexy ass Colombian accent, that's okay. You can swipe left, go to situated.com, and check something out from them. talk to Brian Colburn. The guy's an amazing individual. So that's it right there. So those are all the pleasantries, everybody. Now let me tell you about my guests. So today we sit down with retired Navy Chief Elton McLaughlin and Navy veteran Jermaine Lamb. And basically they formed this amazing organization called Unbound Second Watch Foundation. So like many of us, both of these gentlemen face challenges transitioning out of the military into civilian life, because let's face it, the transitioning process is not the best out there. I mean, it's gotten better over the years, but we still need a lot of work. So instead of hanging up the uniform and just kind of walking away, they chose a different path, basically becoming advocates and providing some of our own brothers and sisters some housing assistance, some navigating the benefit system, and providing mentorship and community outreach. So we're going to talk about their military careers, what is the reality of transitioning out, and some of the gaps that we actually face out there, and where we kind of fall into these traps as we transition out of service. But they're doing some incredible work with their organization, helping veterans and helping their families bring stronger futures to our community. So from VA benefits to disability claims, we'll talk about housing assistance and veterans home ownership. And I mean, we got a lot of practical, good information, inspirational for all of us. So, hey, pass this information along. All right. So, with that being said, hey, let's welcome Jermaine Lamb and Mr. Elton McLaughlin. What's going on, gents? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing outstanding, gents. Hey, so let me ask you, man, we have a lot of stuff to chat about, but I know you guys. So are you both, Jermaine? So and are you both from Detroit, Michigan? Is that kind of like you both are from?
I'm actually in Ohio.
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay. Yep. He's not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Elton? I'm doing a mic check. Jermaine, can you hear me good?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Elton?
Yeah.
I still can't hear nothing. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear nothing y'all saying.
Yes, I'm giving. Yeah, thumbs up. I'm giving you a thumbs up.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't hear us.
I can see y'all. I just can't hear nothing y'all saying. And I got my volume all the way up.
All right, let me see. Hold on. Have him sign out, sign back in.
His output. Yeah. You want to let him know?
Let me see.
There you go. Elton is in the stream with audio only. Yeah. Maybe he's trying to figure it out. Are you still here, Jermaine?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, and see, so yeah, and the listeners, I can't see you though, but our listeners are saying they can hear us. Somebody, thank you, Angel. Appreciate always the love and support. The Army coming in clutch and letting us know that everything is good to go right here on our end. We appreciate you. So, but well, while Elton gets his stuff fixed, let's go ahead and kick off the show. So, Jermaine, so you are from Ohio then, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit. I guess let's talk a little bit about your military career. Why did you join the? What prompted you to say, hey, you know what, I want to join the Navy? How did that come about?
Honestly, it was a passion ever since just being a young kid. Things for GI Joes and things of that nature. I didn't find out till later that because my father, he had passed before I was born, that he had actually served. So
okay,
it was something that I had kind of this underlying passion that I wanted to do, since a young boy.
Okay, that's awesome. Elton, welcome back, by the way. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what was that about, but yeah, everything good now.
All right. Well, hey, that's the important thing. So I had asked Jermaine, hey, what prompted him to join the military? So, what prompted you to join the service?
What prompted me was just the opportunities that I felt that was presented to me was, college, trade school, or the military. I have a lot of military in my family, and then friends that did it too. So that was the route I chose. I did a couple of college tours, and I didn't think it was for me. And when I went to my cousin's graduation for the Navy, I was sold by just seeing the boot camp activities, and that's why I joined the Navy. It gave me opportunity to travel, free education, and structure.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Look, the recruiters came to the high school. I had just seen A Few Good Men, Heartbreak Ridge, whatever, and I liked the blues, and I was like, shit, I could be down with that. I mean, nobody served in my family. I mean, I'm the first one who served in my family.
Right.
I mean, I'm an immigrant. I came here in the mid '80s, so but I actually had seen the Marines at the embassy. Right, this is after when the M19 tried to take over Parliament in Colombia. It's like in the late '80s. It was like a huge Marines were out there friggin' hooking and jabbing, kicking ass, taking names, and so shortly after, because part of us becoming getting our final residence, we had to go back to Bogota to the embassy, and but that was the second time I was exposed to Marines. I was like, man, these guys look pretty sharp, So, well, that's awesome. So let me ask you this: how did you guys link up? Did you guys link up in the service? How did the two of you meet?
Yeah, in the service. It was my first duty station. This was back in 2004.
2004. So on Point Mugu, California.
Okay. Who outranks who?
When we first met, he outranked me. But then I stayed in a lot longer than I retired as chief.
Okay. Nice. So were you guys the same MOS or?
No.
No.
We wasn't in the same unit. We were just on the same base. They had an internet cafe. I don't think they have those no more because everybody got cell phones and Wi-Fi everywhere. But so that's a place where all the sailors or members go on base to hang out at, because everyone didn't have social media back then. So that was our social media spot. He was playing pool, and I just walked in. We started playing pool. I found out he can cut hair. He cut my hair because I didn't have to go to the exchange because they jack you up every time.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's where it kicked it. Like, what's your version of it?
Pretty much the same thing. So no, we wasn't part of the same command. We was actually on a aviation base. And as I stated in the bio or the profile, I was a military police, so I patrolled the base and things like that. But over at the MWRs, well, basically, kind of where we hung out at, and especially, between the 1st and the 15th, depending if you're low on funds. So you kind of go there, hang out, and I was always shooting pool.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we connected. Matter of fact, where the barracks, where the MWR was at, his barracks was right across the street from there. So.
Okay, so you used to be shore patrol then.
Yeah, well, no, you have shore patrol, and then you have the military police, the master at arms. So we actually drove on actual police cars. Yeah.
Well, shit. I just learned something. I thought shore patrol was like the Navy's version of the MP of harassing sailors and Marines. God damn it.
Right.
Yeah. Shore patrol just high speed security guards.
Right, and that's pretty much when you on deployment, and they supposed to be out there keeping everybody in order.
No kidding. Oh, see, down at 32nd Street, because you guys always had the better clubs than us at at Pendleton or Miramar. I mean,
right.
We just got some of the shittier E clubs. But we used to go to 32nd Street and shore patrol. They would be outside and just waiting. Obviously when the club closed and you had a few drinks, like snatching motherfucker, like
right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
They ain't playing no games. They don't want to be there either.
Yeah, it was like, man, chew a pack of gum if you drank all night.
Right.
Oh man. So as you guys were getting ready to get out of the military, I guess at what point did you? Well, I know Elton, you ended up saying name, but Jermaine. So I guess how did you guys stay in touch, and at what point did you both realize that your mission wasn't going to just be going to end right after taking off the uniform?
For me, when I got out in officially 2010.
Okay.
I was actually assigned to do a deployment over to Iraq for 500 some odd days, but they told me after I had completed several deployments that I was too banged up and too injured to go, so I couldn't clear medical.
Wow.
And then officially, I had ended up putting my paperwork in with the VA department to apply for benefits. However, when I applied for it, there was this rule that you had to apply 12 months after coming off active duty.
Yeah.
And so they had denied everything, and I'm looking like, wait, y'all got pictures of the inside of like literally my guts. Like, are y'all really, like you open my medical record, you can like pictures in there, and I'm like, y'all really deny me? Like, okay. And then talking to some of the VSO officers, it was like snail mail. So to actually get my claim fully processed, it took from 2009 to 2016, until I got a, answer back, because they end up sending me through the Board of Veteran Appeals in that process. So me having to, walk through it and go through different avenues dealing with the VA system, like, this is ridiculous. So,
yeah.
And then the one they had came back was with my knees. And they told me that, because I put in for knee pain, they're like, well, your medial compartment syndrome arthritis is in direct effect of your patellar tendonitis. And I'm like, but both of those are knee conditions, and you just denied me. And so when you tell them, okay, they're knee conditions, then they turn around again and give me a rating. And I'm like, all right. So learning the process, learning the breakdown, learning the articulation and the wordplay that some of these raters use and figuring out how to make it easier. Nobody has to go through this. Nobody has time to go through this.
Right.
So after learning the process, learning kind of how the system works, the different codes, and some of the things that they're looking for, it was easier just to make the next person process much easier, so they didn't have to go through that process.
So, and let me ask you guys this, because I know Elton can relate, because I got out twice. I got out the first time after my first enlistment, came back in. So I did the whole transitioning. Oh man, what was it? They didn't call it TRS back. Tamp and tap is what they used to call it back in the day. So I did tamp, and then I came back in, and yeah, it's the same thing. Just kind of like a cattle shoot. Hey, let's just get these guys, checking the box. We did something. See you later. But later on, 10 after coming back in, 15 years later, now I'm getting out again, and it's like, oh shit, nothing's changed. It's still the same goat herding type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So how was it for you guys? What were some of the pitfalls that you guys, Jermaine, from because sounds like you were a first termer. So from a first termer standpoint, and I'm curious too to hear from lifers, so to speak, when Elton got out, when you retired, how was that transition? And I guess what could you have changed, or some of the pitfalls that you went through?
Me?
Yeah.
For me, it was I had a lot of moments where I felt like I wanted to get out. It was like plenty of times, but what outweighed all that was the benefits. The benefits outweighed all my bad choices and decisions, and I'm glad I stuck with it. Even though, a lot of that is trauma, and that's PTSD.
Right.
Fighting against my natural will. So now that I'm retired, it's a completely different feeling now, because I don't have to fight against my will. And sometimes that's a problem for me. So
right.
That's been my transition, because I'm so used to their structure, and that structure is gone no more. It's like I'm all on my own right now. Like, people used to say to make your doctor's appointment, dental appointment, make sure you go work out. But now I got to constantly remind myself to do it. Well, I was always reminded.
Right. And that's a good point. We'll come back to that. What about you, Jermaine?
Honestly, I think one of the biggest pitfalls is just the fact that when I came out, I found out that a lot of people would sit there and tell you thank you for your service. But in the back of their mind, then they have that follow-up question if you've ever been to war.
Yeah.
Then they want to know, they want to, it's like they're evaluating on see, how crazy or how much off your rocker are you. So I've been to interviews where, they'll sit there, they'll tell you thank you for your service and things of that nature. And we support veterans, and, they want to know if you deployed or anything like that, or, Then when they
You ever
find
shoot
out,
somebody? That's the other one.
yeah,
Right?
right.
It's like what?
And when they find out, some of these answers, yeah, I've been deployed, I've been here and there, and it's like, okay, well, we'll get around to that phone call, and you never get that phone call.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's not always a open door policy when you come out thinking that, yes, everybody support, they'll put it on their sign for publicity and, for advertising, but
yeah.
When it comes face to face to actually deal with it, is like, I don't know if I want that in my building.
That's true. 100%. And as advocates, I think we need to, win the hearts and minds, so to speak, of HR, of the corporate world in HR, saying that, hey, look, yes, we deal with some things, whatever else, but we're not, so I think the media and along with movies have made us out to be like these, that, man, if we say something the wrong way, I mean, this dude is about to stab me with a freaking, straw or something like that. When, yeah, we deal with our demons and whatever else, but most of us just keep that shit to ourselves because we just rather carry that load than let anybody else know. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So let me ask you guys this. So you guys were transitioning now. How did you guys reconnect, and how did you guys started coming together and coming with this idea of your organization about housing, homelessness, and stability?
The first time I met Jermaine, he just been a solid guy, extending his hand because he didn't have to, look out for like me because I introduced him to other people in my squadron. He just became our unofficial barber in the barracks, even though he wasn't supposed to be coming in there cutting our hair, but it was what we was really on the risk to do, to have a nice haircut. And he spent time with us. Where we used to drive to? Down to
Anaheim, Orange County, up to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, we talking about
right
like 3 hours away from the
PCH1.
base on a Thursday night and still got to go to work on Friday. He driving us there and back the same night to go to a club. So that's where where it comes from that. So he was just always ready to ride. So fast forward, we both from the Midwest. He's from Toledo, Ohio. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. That's like an hour away from each other. So we was always in close proximity. So when we left from there, we'd be on vacation around the same time, around the holidays. So we'll still link up throughout the years, and that's how we kept in touch. And then social media made it that much easier. So with this dream, I just told him about it. He didn't even hesitate. Like, I'm with you. So it's just been a blessing that he's coming on with the skills he had, because my transition, nothing like his, because I got good rating right out the gate, because I don't know if it was because it's 20 and I'm like banged up, deployment injuries and so on and so forth, but I didn't have to fight to get, all the entitlements. And that could be because other people complained before I got there. And I was able to, do my all my VA stuff like 6 months before getting out, so it can be, sped up and start as soon as I retired. So, and he helped me. I called him because he was out, and he helped me out with like, hey, make sure you document your stuff, because people, a lot of people don't like to go to medical at all.
Yeah, because
it take up so much of your time, and you just get like some Advil. Like, why even go? But you have to go because you got to document it, so you don't be like other people, having to fight for what they entitled to.
Okay. Yeah, Jermaine, you want to add anything?
Yeah, since we left, since I left out there, we always kept in contact, even with the transfer of different commands, and even throughout the years. And even as he got ready to have his retirement, he's considered having it down in the Texas area. I was willing to fly down there and things of that nature. However, he did bring it up to Detroit. So a lot of his family members could make it being close. So, no issue as far as, hey, I'm there, like, and things like that. So we've always stayed in contact and connected. Just difference, like when I got out, and then, I started out at Stellantis. I started there in, 2013, linked up with the Veterans Committee and things of that nature. And even me dealing with my own process, going through the VA system and dealing with their web of information, because before it used to be e-benefits. So if you remember back when it was e-bennies, that's what, they slowly, transitioning over. And, out there's a pool of probably 5,000 employees total, probably another 1,100,000 that are veterans. So you have this pool of veterans that were there that, you know, some of them I've worked with that have been there for years that never ever received their benefits. So, you know, taking them through the process, showing them, you know, how to access this and access that, you know, made a difference between some of them sticking around for a few more years and some of them going out the gate and retiring. So, and it just, you know, picking up that knowledge, and as the VA made changes and things along the way, you know, it just made things a lot easier.
And I just want to interject for a second. My bad, but I want to say I haven't had any bad experiences with the VA since I've been retired. Although I had a lot of fears because all I heard was some negative things. So they have made improvements, but a lot of those like senior citizens, they just not hit with technology, and they kind of, I guess, afraid of that, so they don't even know what they're entitled to no more. So I'm gonna give VA they credit. It's there, but people need their hand walk to get there.
So, and Jermaine kind of touched up on some of the things. So, what were some of? So, I guess, what were some of the problems that you guys saw that needed solving?
When it comes to the VA, I mean, just in general, so naturally, you know, because there's more veterans than there is medical providers at the VA clinic.
Oh,
and
yeah,
one of the things is, so we know that the services are contracted out through services like VES Logistics, and there's a QTC. So,
right.
And sometimes when you don't, you know, receive that letter from the VA, they're like, okay, what's this? And if they don't have a person that they can dial and contact and, you know, explain that to them, you know, sometimes they put it to the side. Other thing I tell them is when these exams come up for these CMP exams, I don't care what you got going on, unless it's like almost a life or death or something like that. Make sure you make that appointment, because you made the request to tell the VA, this is what you're requesting. This is what's wrong with you. You want to be evaluated for this because you believe that this condition happened while you were in service. All right, make sure you make that appointment, because that's the number one reason why they're going to deny you. So if you can't take the time out to make the appointment in which they schedule for you, which they try to at least get out 30 days out, they will deny you based on that. They do give you an opportunity to reschedule, but sometimes you want to take that gamble. So you're kind of taking the risk and gamble on what you're asking them to do.
Right. So with your organization as a whole, I guess, to clarify. So what problems did you guys see that, hey, you know what, these are the problems that we see, and here's how our organization is going to be different to solve them. So what would those be?
The problem I see is lack of foundation.
Okay.
So the first step is, you know, a lot of people join the military and to escape homelessness just to go back out and get back into it, when all they need is, you know, a proper, you know, bed space and opportunity. I want to be, you know, help set a foundation, you know, to catapult people into their own independence, you know, using their VA home loan to buy their own home and, you know, crawl, walk, run, and fly phase. So sometimes people just need that small helping hand. And I understand you can't, you know, you ain't gonna be able to help everybody because some people don't want help.
Okay. And I know Jermaine touched up on some of the issues that, or pitfalls that, you know, that us, as we're transitioning out or are already out. One, age is a big deal, and as far as technology and everything else. But in addition to that, so you guys brought the housing piece. So how does the housing piece work? And in the event that, let's say, you know, you have a veteran, because right now you guys are looking to expand and bridge this all across the nation. So as far as the housing aspect, how would that work if you know, if there's a veteran that needs some type of housing assistance? How do you guys help?
So first they got to go through a qualifying process. You know, first establishing that they are a veteran, so we can't go just off of their word. So, you know, DD 214, and then also they get programs like, you know, VA that will give them housing assistance, like allowance, to allow them to get back on their feet. And that can range from anywhere from 6 months to a year, or sometimes in some situations for life. And, you know, you give them the bed space, you provide the resources, access to transportation, and so on and so forth. So we on the foundation pointed ourselves, applying for grants, asking for donations, as they will, volunteers to help expand this, so we can, you know, give those services and lighten up the load on the VA with organizing resources outside of the VA.
So, wow, Elton, I mean, I thought I was a little bit savvy. So tell me a little bit more about, so the VA does provide some type of housing assistance for if you're homeless?
Usually they qualify if they're homeless. So that's usually some of the first questions when you do access VA benefits. You give the call 1-800 numbers. They have recordings letting you know, are you homeless? Those are the first thing, because it's a it's an epidemic with homelessness and everywhere near VA. So they want to help you out, but people, sometimes they just don't know that they qualify for it. Whatever downward spirals or mental condition. And it's June, this men's mental health month.
Health month, right?
Yeah, so they can have like blockers going on and not even realizing how much time gone by, and knowing that they have access because they keep putting it off. And sometimes you just got to show up to where they at. They're like, hey, you don't have to be here. You want to make a change? Yeah, let's go. If not, we'll come back and check on you later.
Mm-hmm. And to add to that is, as far as the homeless, and just because I'm constantly in the VA system, so one of the very first questions that's pretty much asked is, are you homeless or are you at risk of being homeless? And the thing is and one of the main purposes of that question is because in order for the VA to contact you, they got to have some way of contacting you as far as sending information, mailing that, and things of that sort. As well as if you apply for benefits, they don't, they can't send it, you can't post your address on the corner if you're in the cardboard box, or in like places like San Diego, everybody's familiar with Tent City. They don't have a postal address. So they have to be able to contact you in order for you to even receive your benefits and things like that. So yes, they do have programs out there that's designated, for veterans, and then, different programs based on county funds and federal funds that, help those that are at risk of being homeless and being in transition, between houses and things of that nature.
Wow, this is some really good information. Hey, let me ask you guys this. I know you guys have been doing this for a while, helping veterans and everything else. What, I kind of mentioned at the beginning some of the things that I've encountered through my own family. I have a family member who we both actually, my younger brother and I, we went into the Marine Corps together. But it took him 20 plus years for him to file. But what are some of the things that you heard and why do so many veterans wait years before filing a claim, and the things that you guys have encountered?
What I've encountered is just in general, a lot of times they were told that they couldn't while they were on active duty. Some of them believe that they signed some paper, especially those guys in the Marines and the Army. They believe they signed a piece of paper that state that they couldn't apply for benefits. Another issue that I run across is based on their discharge. Your discharge can be upgraded. There is ways of having your discharge upgraded. And even those who do have a discharge that is less than honorable, under honorable conditions, you are still able to apply for your benefits. They also have things called a ELS, which is entry level separation. So there's verbiage out there, and all the stuff is accessible on the internet that states, based on your discharge, you have your medical discharges. So, and when it comes to, as you asked, then you have the guys like I have told you the other day is, well, especially with mental health, will it restrict them from owning a firearm? And there's not a VA claim out there, unless you have some serious medical diagnosis that you seek outside treatment that will prevent you from owning a firearm that says you are, a harm to others or a harm to yourself. But just putting in a claim within itself based on things you experienced in the military is not enough to say, oh, no, you can no longer carry a firearm.
I would say job opportunities. Like when I got out, I got a part-time job for a smart airline company. And a lot of the people I was working alongside, they was in the pilot program. So they got to, work at an entry-level position for a year to get in the pipeline to be a pilot. But there was a few veterans, but they didn't want to, get their disability for the sake of not getting a pilot job because they have a real tight screening process. But when you Google it and fact check it, it says that's not true. But yet and still, they don't, apply for those benefits for that reason.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny because the whole firearm thing too. I've heard that one, or I can't be a police officer. And it's like, no, dude, you can get that job if you want to. Or people who I just helped a veteran he's in the sheriff's department, and he was at 20%. He goes, no, I've just been afraid because I'm 3 years from retirement, and I just don't want to get flagged and then, I get fired or whatever else. I was like, no, dude, you're federally protected, bro. If anything, I mean, if they were to go that route, I mean, they will make you a really, 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 really rich man.
Right.
On top of that, you know what I'm saying. So, let me, man, some good stuff, some really good information that you guys are bring to the table. So what does success look like for you guys with Unbound Second Watch 5 years from now? Where would you guys like to see the organization at?
Oh wow, 5 years. I would say at least operating in 3 cities, and I mean I would say 3 different states, and within
Okay.
5 years, I think that's feasible.
Okay. What about you, Jermaine? What do you?
With the expansion and the networking that's basically kind of being put in place, just watching the development, the growth, and looking at different opportunities outside of just expanding different and connecting with, like I said, work study programs and different things to help some of these, veterans as they do transition. So, even the ones that we do take on, okay, we're not just taking them on as, bringing them in there, but we're able to, put them in a position to grow and develop. And then we have resources that, we're connected with in the surrounding areas in the cities that, okay, they're willing to take these guys on, and whether it's job placement, educational programs, and things like that, so they can maximize their benefits to the fullest.
That's amazing. Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely have a chat offline, because there's a couple of organizations that you guys need to definitely plug in, and a couple of conventions around what you guys do, military related, that I think you guys would really benefit by linking up with those resources. So we can talk about that more. So, what message would you leave veterans listening today?
Reach out, even if it's not to us. Reach out to other organizations, other VA, old military buddies. Join other military-friendly groups to where you can find like new hobbies or new interests or new networking, job opportunities. The stuff usually not going to just fall in your lap. You got to get up and at least ask, pick up the phone and call, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
And another thing I would say, in regards to that is, one of the questions you asked is, as far as, there's guys that's been out 30, 40 years that have, don't know what's available to them. So, as they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So
Yes.
don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid question out there, and you'd be surprised at some of the answers you get. I tell people, and I'm not afraid, I still get a clothing allowance to this day. So there's different benefits out there that, you can get, that you have entitled to, and different resources. But if you don't know how to access them, and you don't have a team around you to access, this information and these benefits for you, then, I mean, you're completely lost. And that's everything from you coming out all the way up to burial benefits. There's resources out there, and they're available to you. You just know how to get to them.
Not only the veteran, either this for the family members of veterans too, the spouses, because they get benefits, or a close relative to a veteran who don't know how to take care of that veteran if they like a senior citizen, and no one. There's a program to where that family member could get paid to take care of their loved one. So, and they don't know this stuff. So just like I said, there's no such thing as a silly question, because we may have an answer for it. And if we don't, we're going to reach out to someone who do have the answer.
Right.
Yeah. No, and the stipend, and to your point, Elton, I actually I put my mom under me, and I mean, the stipend is very small. It's like $150. But with that, I'm able to pay for her electricity, her utilities. I mean, something's better than nothing. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of things out there and a lot of resources. So, gents, let me ask you guys this. Where, if people want to reach out to you guys via social media, I know it's on the show description. I put you guys' website on the show description, but where can people reach out to find you, Elton, Jermaine, if they're like, hey, I want to link up with these guys? What platforms are you guys in?
Right now, primarily Facebook. Jermaine is operating our TikTok, and they can reach out via email. That's ubhousing313@gmail.com. That's Uniform Bravo Housing313@gmail.com.
ubhousing@gmail.com.
Yeah, Housing313.
I'm putting it right here on the air.
Okay. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Jermaine, any parting words, brother?
No. Like I said, we're a team of veterans connecting with other veterans. We're trying to help veterans lead veterans. So, and anybody who's, feel like they want to volunteer, join the team, they're more than welcome. So they can go ahead and reach out. And like I said, we're all about supporting one another. A lot of times when veterans get out, they feel more comfortable talking to another veteran. They don't feel connected with society. And many of us walk around feeling completely disconnected from society, but we feel more comfortable talking to one of our own brothers. So
that's true. I mean, sometimes, and that's why in corporate world, we kind of gravitate towards one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Even if they don't know, even if they just want to help and they don't know what to do, just reach out. We can have a conversation, see what you're good at, and we can use that.
Awesome. Gentlemen, first of all, hey, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'd love to, keep watching you guys. You guys keep coming back, keep me updated, and we could keep the audience up there, and then, talk about some other subjects that we can, that helps our brothers and sisters out there. So thanks so much. And I just want to say, Era, get some Semper Fi. Take care now.
All right, hoorah.
Era. Well, hey, what amazing individuals that we, I've been doing this for for several years now. And, today was a great learning experience. I mean, I didn't know that the VA had a grant or you get a stipend for homelessness, among other things. So, and it's always really cool to just learn something new. That's something that we can share. And that's the whole point of this show. That's the whole point of, like the guys just said, staying connected and not just this completely ghosting your community and the folks, your fire teams that, because when we get out, we kind of like become isolated, and that pretty much, it's the end of story, and it shouldn't be like that. So great information. What a great organization. Please support it. Find these guys, get plugged in with their information on their channels, on their social media platforms. And let's really help this organization really grow over the next couple of years, because I think this is something that our brothers and sisters can really benefit from. So I think it's a good point. And I like to end the show this way. Look, listen, if you've been struggling with ruminating, kind of, going into that dark place where, you just can't dig yourself out of, reach out to us, reach out to Jermaine, reach out to Elton, reach out to somebody and talk to somebody. Don't be a statistic. Nobody here wants to, be talking about you at your eulogy or whatever else, and leave us with all the questions of how we could have helped you, and talk you off that ledge. So, but hey, great place, great show, everybody. So that being said, Aistamas, Daisuki, I'll see you next week. Ara, get some. Take care now, everybody. Bye-bye.